Are they purposely hiding the felon from the public? Why did Elon Musk and the felon break up? And what's going on with Stephen Miller and his wife and Elon Musk? Let's look into all of that. Welcome to Scrying Out Loud. My name is Trevor. First off, a huge thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel. There's a lot of new subscribers, and I'm not sure if everybody's aware that I have a second channel in which I look at cold cases, conspiracy theories, things along those natures, things that are a little bit more spiritual. Um, I recently did a reading on the 15th anniversary of the disappearance of Chiron Horman, who disappeared from Oregon at the age of 7. I will link the channel in the description of this video if you're interested. Check it out. I'd love to have you as a subscriber over there as well. Okay, like I said, thank you for everybody who's watching, liking, commenting on the videos. I try to get to all your comments. I'm not always successful at doing that. I do read them all. And if you've donated money to the channel through the super thanks, buy me a coffee, Venmo, just a huge, huge thank you. It's all greatly appreciated. The support for this channel has been amazing. I know a lot of you are promoting the channel on social media and on other YouTube channels, and that has not gone unnoticed. So huge, huge thank you to all you wonderful subscribers and viewers. So let's dive into these topics. So the felon spent the weekend in Florida and only had played golf and then had one other appearance where he had dinner with uh, junior varsity Vance, and it was a private dinner, and that was it. So Dave Packman on his show went in more into detail about how often he's not in the public, so you can check that out if you wish. And then Musk came out against the big beautiful bill. The felon has said some things like, Doge didn't really actually didn't create any savings, which is true. One of the true things he said. And then we have Stephen Miller's wife leaving with the White House with Elon Musk. And a lot was said about this. At the time, I didn't really think too much about it because she's going to work for Elon Musk. So that didn't seem that unnatural to me. However, when I was scrying this morning, I got some great images on all three of these topics. So let's start with Stephen Miller and Katie Miller marriage. So I saw them sitting across from each other at a table. It looked like some sort of arbitration. And she seemed to have some sort of damning material on him. Not the white supremacist stuff, but something possibly worse, or at least uh, what people would definitely be turned off by, even the MAGA wing. Um, so let's look into that. Are they going to break up? Are they going to split? Is she going to talk to the media about something? Um, and more importantly, is she safe? Now, don't get me wrong, she's not, this wonderful person who's led this great life. She's been working for the felon and Pence and other Republicans to undo protections for people this whole time. So um, don't mistake my uh, reading on this as empathy for her. Perhaps I have some sympathy for her, but uh, we all kind of make our own beds, is how I kind of look at it. What do we need to know about Katie and Stephen Miller? So this is also part of the scrying image. I could see him sitting in front of a computer late at night in a separate room while she was sleeping. I don't know if he's talking to people and she's finding out about this or will find out about this. It feels like he's up to something, for entertainment purposes only. clearly. This is just a tarot reading. I could be right, I could be wrong. So what do we need to know about their relationship? So something is going to come forward, whether it's about money or something of value is yet to be determined. So we get the Page of Pentacles. We get the Five of Swords in the environment around. This is the card that Rosalind Carter showed me for dementia. So I wonder if she knows that they're hiding something on the felon as relates to that. Or it could be that she just feels wounded by whatever he is doing late at night. Uh, there's an illusionary and delusionary thinking going on here on his part, perhaps even some mild substance abuse. I don't think it's anything too serious, but I do think, perhaps he's drinking too much on occasion, and perhaps he's not supposed to be. I feel like there was some sort of agreement about this in their marriage. Again, more messages coming forward about money or things of value with the Knight of Pentacles. At the center of the reading, this makes perfect sense. We get the Ten of Wands. She feels really heavily burdened by being married to him. This is for a variety of reasons. One, he's just an awful human being. And two, she didn't really sign up for how crazy things have gotten. Now, she's been playing her part in it. So there's that. But I don't think she really ever expected him to go basically full inward, ending in an I with a Z in the middle. And I think that's what she's feeling has happened. So she feels very burdened. The felon is in the environment around, very much influencing and having an effect on their marriage. She was a Pence advisor or spokesman for Pence early on. Makes me wonder how um, really loyal she is to the felon. Uh, she's longing for the days of freedom, the days where things were fun. Life isn't fun, but the truth is, life isn't fun for most of us in the United States. There's something sneaky, squirmy, the Seven of Swords. We always get the Seven of Swords energy around the felon and the people around him. So there's a lot of deceit going on in this marriage. In particular, he's deceiving her with some of his activities. And we get stability. So she's going to take into account the process of leaving him and whether that leaves her financially stable, whether that leaves her emotionally stable, whether that leaves her viewed by the public as an enemy. It's kind of hard to extricate yourself from a cult. So I think there's a lot of considerations. But she saw something of value or something he wants to keep hidden. This has caused her a lot of burdens, and she's currently contemplating how she can move on with life and be stable. I don't think she wants to stay in the marriage. That's just my personal opinion. I'm sure she would deny that publicly at this point, but in a little while, I think the truth will be told. She misses the day of, laughing, playing, having fun. Um, her freedom, and I think this was before she was married. I think the marriage just as itself feels like a huge burden, and it feels like it's built on a pack of lies. And that's how she's seeing it currently. She does not like the way that Stephen Miller's interacting with the felon and the way the felon has turned him into full blown, N-word that ends with an I and has a Z. I do think that she knows that they're covering up the felon's dementia, but they're also covering up some other things as well. And that's making her uncomfortable because ultimately she knows that these messages are going to get out and they're going to reflect poorly on her. And she's quite selfish. It's about her. She might not like him, but she's thinking about this of how can I proceed to protect myself? And she doesn't really care about anybody else. Certainly doesn't care about the American people. And she knows that there are things going on behind the scenes that are deceitful, distrustful, dishonest, thievery, bribery, all sorts of things along those natures. So underneath, again, she's juggling money. She's trying to figure that out. She did take this job with Elon Musk, with the magician who's my card for Elon Musk. This might give her some freedom to walk away from him. This is a new career with the Ace of Wands. But she's currently worried about repayments of loans and debts. I don't think this is actually monetary loans and debts. It could be. I mean, I don't know what their personal finances look like. I didn't bother to try to find out. Don't really care. But it's like almost a karmic repayment of loans and debts. Like she knows that she's not clean in this, and she knows it's inevitable with the Three of Wands that justice is coming and that life will have its way of balancing out. And she's trying to figure out how to make this as least painful for her as possible, but it's causing her a lot of anxiety and some sleepless nights. So I don't know. My guess is that they will not be married in, 3 to 5 years. It might happen sooner than that, but I think she's going to really carefully extricate herself from the situation, create some distance even within the marriage so that she can't be held responsible for some of the things that he's doing. So, um, yeah, it's a disturbing um, energy for sure. Okay, so why did Musk and the felon break up? What's that about? So, what's going on with Elon Musk and the felon's relationship? What do we need to know about this? What do we need to know about the felon and Musk's relationship? It feels like, in some weird way, the felon fulfilled his part of the deal, and Musk is just disappointed with the end product. Of course, the felon doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about giving tax cuts. He doesn't care about whether he cuts Medicaid, Social Security. He just doesn't care because he's oblivious. He doesn't know what these things mean to people. And I don't think Musk really knows either, but yeah, if one plan doesn't work, try another. Musk didn't get everything he wanted out of this deal of going to work for Doge. Tesla stock went way down. Tesla's now almost like a hated company. Um, people honk and flip off people driving Teslas now. It's also, you can find all sorts of things going on online with respect to that. And the environment around, we get the Ace of Wands, this new career. And I think this is him taking the government position and expecting to get a lot more out of it and expecting to get a lot more out of the felon because I do think he holds some sway over him, has some dirt on him. However, it's kind of like the felon fulfilled his part of the bargain. Uh, it just was a bad plan. And we get the King of Wands. There's a lot of fire, a lot of anger coming from Musk. I think we'll see more of that. There's also fire and anger coming from the felon. I think we'll see more of that as well. I think, the truth is when you take two people that are below average intelligence, well, maybe not below average, but average intelligence to below average intelligence, and they try to do some grand scheme. It's probably most likely going to fail because they don't know what they're doing. They're just not very smart. We get the Queen of Wands as well. This feels like a female prosecutorial energy. We've picked up on this before. I do wonder if there's not investigations on a state level so that Trump can't pardon him or the felon can't pardon him. And I think there's investigations into the felon himself as well for manipulating the stock market, for example, other things along those lines. We get the Queen of Pentacles at the center of the reading. This is Musk holding the secret about the felon. He's holding it closely to his chest. He's going to try to get more out of the felon. So let's watch for legislation and see how it's influenced by what Musk does. We do get the world card at the end of a cycle. It does feel like this partnership is maybe not completely over, but over in the sense of it's now out in the public that it's just completely transactional, that there is no trust one way or another, which you have to be of a not high intelligence to trust the felon and to trust Musk, right? You just can't be both. Here's the Elon Musk appearing in his own reading as the magician. And we get the Seven of Wands, defending oneself. I feel Elon Musk is very much in this defensatory posture. He's thinking about how best he can um, defend him, defend Tesla, stand up for his shareholders, these kind of things. So he's not in a good spot. And then we get judgment. People are passing judgment on him. This are people in the public. This is people um, even in his immediate circle. This is people working at Tesla. This is the Tesla shareholders. This is the Tesla board. There's a lot of people that are just angry about what he has chosen to do by taking this Doge position. Like they were always wanting him to not do it. This is why Vivek Ramaswamy chose to exit Doge, right? Because he wanted to run for governor of Ohio, and he knew that these Doge things were not going to be popular. So if one plan doesn't work, try another. Musk still has whatever dirt he has on the felon, and he's holding it close to his chest. He's feeling very judged at the moment, and this is a problem for the felon because Musk still has this dirt on him, and Musk is willing to let it out. I mean, Musk is willing to speak fire, so to speak, and let out all this information. So the felon needs to act carefully. So it is the end of the cycle as we know it between the two of them, but it's not completely over. It's now just more transactional. Musk is finding himself in a position of defending himself. What is he defending himself against? He's defending himself against some sort of prosecutorial type energy. This feels like a female prosecutor, perhaps Letitia James. It could be at another state, though. And we also get like a new reality, a new career for Musk and the environment around. And I think, he's slowly going to step back from Tesla. Tesla's going to try to rebrand. I don't know that it works, but I think that's what's going to happen. We will know the truth here soon enough with the Sun card. And we get the Ten of Pentacles, the end of a cycle, as well as the card for wealth and inheritance. And I think Musk feels burned by his relationship with the felon. I think he thought he was going to get a lot more out of it. And it turns out that he just didn't. And, that greedy type nature is coming back to kind of haunt him, and versus having more of a temperate type energy. He's all about bombshells and surprises. He's okay with causing anxiety. He lives in anxiety constantly. You can kind of see this when he's out in public. There's something wrong with him, like on an organic level. that he suffers from, I think some severe mental illnesses. And there'll be something coming forward in the near future, probably in regards to the health of the felon and or the money that they were juggling overseas, as long along with the guardrails that they broke in order to do what they do. And this ultimately leads to the downfall of MUSK, and it leads to people walking away from MUSK and the felon both. So um, it's kind of like this. It's like Musk thought he was going to get more out of this deal than he did, because he has this thing of value against the felon. The felon basically upheld his bargain, but didn't it didn't produce what Musk thought it would produce. So um, yeah, it's an odd energy. Okay, so let's look at why are they keeping the felon out of the public eye? So 3 days went by. Basically, the only public event that he had was playing a round of golf, and then he had a private dinner with JD Vance, which doesn't really count as a public event. His schedule is very lackluster. It's not very full at all. So I think, uh, hang on one second. Sorry about that. I don't know if you could hear that, but that was a alarm going off in the back. I apologize about that. Okay. Um, so they've been keeping the felon pretty hidden from the public. They try to limit his statements. We've seen when he addresses places like the University of Alabama and West Point that he just sounds demented and like a fool. So what do we need to know about this? Let's just start with this. Are they keeping, I think there's some adjusting to some medication there with the Seven of Cups. Are they keeping the felon hidden and away from the public? And if so, why? I think they're worried every time he opens his mouth. So we get the Six of Cups. This is thinking about his legacy. I think they feel that they have to protect his legacy. Now, most of us think he has a horrible legacy, but that's not how they think about it. Seven of Cups wants to pop up again. This illusionary and delusionary thinking that they're going to get away with it. But also, it feels like the felon has started to take a new medication, which is affecting him slightly. And we get the Fool card in the upper right, this new beginning. Victories in the environment around. Who's the victory for? I think this is the victory of the American people. And we get temperance at the center of the reading. They're trying to get him to come off as being, sane. And that's really hard to do if he's out in public a lot. And if you read his truth posts or Twitter posts or whatever you want to call them, he sounds absolutely insane. You know, if one plan doesn't work, try another. I think they have a backup plan if things start to go awry. There's something wrong with his heart. I mean, we pull the Three of Swords every single time. There is something wrong with his heart. I've always thought it was congestive heart failure, but it could actually be more serious than even that. It could be kind of the deterioration of all his internal organs as he's aging. You know, he's exhibiting a lot of signs of dementia and erratic behavior, but he also looks puffy. He looks ill. He looks, um, I mean, I know several people with congestive heart failure, and while it's a serious condition, there's medicines for it, and people live a reasonable amount of time after diagnosis with it. So I think there's more to it than it's just his heart. I think it's perhaps even more. And that bruise on his hand, it probably was an IV, maybe a blood transfusion, could have been taking some medicines. There's been reports that he had a stent put in his heart. That to me means nothing because, well, I mean, it means something, but I mean, tons of people are running around the country with stents in their heart, right? I mean, this is not a serious condition. This is far more serious. This is like kidneys starting to not work, which makes me wonder about the diapers. His liver possibly starting to fail as well, like a fatty liver type disease. I wonder if the Three of Swords actually isn't telling us more, that it's not just the heart, and that's why it keeps popping up. Like there's more organs involved. Uh, they're trying to make blind choices because they never know how he's going to act from one day to the next. And they know that they won't be able to keep up with the news cycle if this news ever breaks. So they're worried about his legacy. They want to try to present him as being, moderate in the sense of in good health, not in fantastic health, but not in ill health. And they know if the story ever breaks that they won't be able to keep up with the news cycle. Again, there's something wrong with his heart or his organs in general. They're trying to keep that a secret, but it's going to get revealed, and we're going to get this like new reality eventually. It's going to happen. They're working hard to keep it a secret. They're keeping him out of the public because they never know what he's going to say. They know that he's demented and illusional and delusional. But eventually, what happens is all these energies combine and we get victory for the people. We find out the truth, essentially, is what the victory card is here. So, underneath, we have the chariot, which is the human trafficking, that we know about where they're sending people to El Salvador without due process. We get the church, the Pope, the courts. They're also might get involved and continue to anger him. And the more angry he gets, I think the worse his health condition gets. And ultimately, this leads to his complete and utter downfall with the Ten of Swords. So they're basically keeping him out of public on purpose because of his health. So let's just really quickly ask, is he getting some sort of secret medical? Is he getting any medical attention, diagnoses, anything like that when he's gone to Florida? Are there any interventions going on? Do we need to know there? We're protected. The star card's all about the protection of the people in the United States. Somebody commented that, the star could be like the stars and stripes protecting the country. I agree with that. I think that is what the star card is about every time it appears, that we are protected. They're juggling a lot of things with regards to his health. They're trying to keep things secret, but eventually I think it's going to become too much. And I think there might even be an overseas component to this where people overseas already know what's going on. And it's a lot of burdens here, the Ten of Wands, trying to keep this secret. And we get the Queen of Cups sitting on the dock, trying to figure out a way to go about this, contemplating new and different techniques to keep the secret. At the center of the reading, those the Ten of Swords, complete and utter downfall, being stabbed in the back. Eventually, somebody blabs, and we know the truth. And then I don't think it's too much longer after that that he leaves the planet. Yeah, things start to move quickly, and we have unlikely partnerships with the Lovers card, I think, and we get lost with the Five of Cups. So and that's in the environment around. He's losing his faculties, and he is getting medical attention when he's in Florida, giving and receiving of things of value. So the main thing that I think the spirit wants us to know is, or that spirit wants us to know, is that we're protected. This is going to lead to his complete and utter downfall, and that he is receiving some sort of medical treatment when he is away from the public for a while. There's some sort of unlikely partnership here. I think it's probably with Vance. I think Vance probably knows, and Vance might be the one that stabs him in the back. That wouldn't shock me at all. And it's overall, it's just very burdensome with the Ten of Wands to keep this charade going. There's been a lot of thought put into how to do it. They know things are going to start to move really quickly, and they know that they're juggling too much and they're not going to be able to keep things a secret forever. And at the bottom of it, there's loss. They see him declining in front of them more so than we see it because we don't see him on an hourly basis, thank goodness. The Democrats are going to be looking into this, and there will be fiery messages coming forward. And they're going to try all the plans that they can think of. If one plan doesn't work, try another, the Eight of Pentacles. But there's a lot of anxiety that they're not going to be able to keep this a secret, and they're not. It's not going to stay a secret forever. It's going to come out, but I think by the time it comes out, the felon departs the planet shortly thereafter. So, anyhow, all right. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with another video soon.